Hello, everybody. I am Afefe with Touch by Tarot. I hope you are doing well. I'm glad that you've landed on my channel, or if you are a regular subscriber and you're back again, or I truly appreciate you. I am taping this on Saturday, November 25th, just after the Thanksgiving holiday here in America. If you celebrate the holiday, I hope you had a wonderful time. And, all of us, like, I need to be juicing right about now, right? So you all. This coming Monday, November 27th, we have ourselves a full moon in Gemini. Gemini is such a fascinating sign to me. I'm a Capricorn, but a Capricorn sun. But I love astrology, and every sign has its delights and its challenges. And Gemini, no sign, portrays that more than Gemini because it is ruled by Mercury. It is known as the sign of the twins, right? The divine twins. But because it is ruled by Mercury, Gemini can be, today it can feel this way and tomorrow it feels that, or maybe even not that far apart, right? In a given moment, a situation may feel like it's on the up and up, and then whammo, it could be going in another direction. It is a mercurial energy. And so when we think about the full moon, that time of fullness, that time where emotions can get heightened, that time where very often spirit is telling us, the guides are telling us, it is time to release something, to let something go, to be ready to move on to a different phase of life. I find it really interesting that this moon is coming so close to the end of 2023, because we are thinking about, taking stock of what's happened this year and beginning to set our goals and intentions for what's happening next year. All right. You all, they woke me up in the middle of the night because typically if you're with me, and please, if you're here, like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support. Usually for new moons and full moons, I do pick a card readings, and I am going to do that today. But Spirit put a little wrench in it today. And I've even got the timestamp of me sitting up at 3:45 this morning, because that's when my guides decide they would like to chit chat. But it's no problem. My thing is, this is what I do. This is my passion. And if it means sitting up during the night and when I'm open, perhaps more open, and letting messages come through, I'm here for it. So 3:44 precisely a.m. Here is the title of your reading today. You all might want to take a couple of notes on this one before we even get to the pick of cards. All right. Because this is not going to just be, and I have the stones here. I'll show them to you in a moment. But this is not just going to be using your intuition to pick a stone and then pick a pile, or sometimes you may be drawn to more than one. This reading is with a distinct message from the guides that I think it's an interesting mix of politics and spirituality. Many of you, and myself included, we are political people. We like staying abreast of the issues. We like using intuition and psychic insights to trying to figure out, stay a step ahead of the game, right? But at the same time, we are spiritual people. We are spirits having a human experience. And so I think there is a space, or, we should create the space on this platform to, allow those things to intertwine. I will be perfectly honest with you. I've made some attempts at just doing political readings. I started this thing called Think Tank Thursdays. Wah, wah, wah. But, although thank you for those of you who said you liked it. But here's the deal. Total transparency here. I'm a former journalist. Many of you know that. I did my share of politics. I wrote up my share of endorsements for the newspaper, etc. So I get it. Politics is something that I grasp. I am interested in it. But given the current state of our politics, you all, as a spiritualist, and someone whose primary work I feel like is healing and empowerment, when I get into that strictly political mode, I feel myself sometimes tightening up a little bit, like I get pissed. I don't know about you, but it just tightens me up, okay? And then I have to, unwind and get it loose again to get back and, get my equilibrium back, all right? Now, this message, though, thinking about this full moon in Gemini, I'm going to write down the title they gave me. I'm telling you, I had to sit up, grab my phone, get the notes on it. I'll even show you so you don't think I'm kidding. If you can see that close up, excuse that ring light. You see that time stamp up at the top, 3:44 a.m. On November 25th. So The title they gave me for this pick a card reading, you all, is The Politics of Your Power and Purpose. The politics of your power and purpose. That is going to be the topic for today's full moon reading, full moon in Gemini pick a card reading. The politics of your power and purpose. That is what the guides want to speak to you about, okay? And give you enlightenment about, or just give things, give things for you to think about or set your intentions toward, especially as we're talking about full moon energy, where we release anything that is not serving us. It could be, it could just be where we have worries or concerns, or we feel overwhelmed, or we can just feel the chaos. We can feel things are changing day by day in our political landscape. All right. So within all of that, we have to also stay balanced and understand, and really have a tight, what is the word they're trying to give me? Well-formed is what they're saying. Like a well-formed, I'm almost seeing like a craft, like something you make from scratch, but so that then, having made it, it is your creation. You have a natural attachment to it. That is your power and your purpose. It's like understanding what is going on in the world around you, staying informed, but also staying in your power and staying very true to the purpose that you serve as someone who is, say for instance, if you're out there getting ready to exercise your right to vote, it's not just you doing your civic duty. It is also you bringing your framework, your beliefs, your values to the polls. It is understanding. I think that is one reason why, we use a space like this, social media, to discuss issues, to stay abreast of what's happening, because it helps us understand our ideals. It helps us stay true to our ideals. It helps us to understand there is community and we're not alone in expressing those ideals. Okay, having said that, let's get ready to get into this reading. So in addition to that, you probably saw underneath that title, they gave me some questions, and this is what you might want to write down. So underneath this power of politics and purpose, they gave me a few things to think about as you prepare to use your intuition to pull from or choose one of these piles. 1, I choose my political views. All of this, by the way, goes back to Gemini, because Gemini is a card of duality, the twins. In tarot, I should, try to make sure I include tarot in all things. In tarot, the Lovers is the major arcana sign or card that is related to the sign of Gemini. And I use 2 different examples from 2 different decks to show you. Part of this duality that we're talking about with Gemini energy is very often with the Lovers, you see two figures, but it's not like they're doing the hoochie coo, I don't know where that came from. But it's usually that they are searching for something together, and they need each other to find that, to make that decision. So here you see these, both of them looking upward toward the heavens, towards the angels. Same energy here. The bodies are separate, but they are both looking upward, receiving guidance. When we get the Lovers in tarot, it is very often it's tempting to go to that hoochie coo lover, soulmate kind of twin flame energy. Ooh, that. And sure enough, that very often can be an indication. But often it is because there is that duality in the Gemini energy and the Lovers. It is very often about this search for decisions, like a consulting with the guides, essentially what's happening here, but doing it as a unit, because what happens, the decision that is made not only impacts the one person, but it impacts the other. Talking about politics, collectively, when we exercise our right to vote, when we form political committees, when we have discussions, etc., when we talk about changing ideas and changing the future and making the world a better place, the decisions we make for ourselves are intended and by design will impact the larger whole. Boom. There you have it. The Lovers. All right. Hope that gave some of you perhaps a new perspective on the Lovers in tarot. All right. So I'm going to give you these questions or these statements, these affirmations that Spirit gave me to share with you, and then we will go into the pick of cards. Number 1, I choose my political views. Choices. Gemini, Lovers. I choose my focus and attention. I choose to trust my higher self. I choose to walk in my power. I choose to love my life force. I choose to trust source energy. They're telling me I went kind of fast. Read it over for you one more time. And you know what I'll do? Not to waste time, so we can go ahead and get to our to the pick of cards. I will just like I took a screenshot of this. I will post it. Okay, I'll post this screenshot for you all so you can have that. All right. So now it's time to let's tap into that intuition. And we're going to get into these 3 piles that I pulled for you. Again, if you are new to my channel, when I do pick a cards, I am ethical. I answer to spirit in all things. Okay, so I don't play. Not on here to be, performative and fake. This is always from the heart. If I can't do it for that, I'm not doing it. So when I said that to say when I do pick a cards, it takes me literally, y'all, to cleanse the decks, to get my energy straight, to get that portal open with the guides. It takes me about 20 minutes, a solid 20 minutes to get the cards on the table. And rather than have you sit and watch me doing all of that, I get everything on the table ahead of time, but I do not see any of these cards until I start taping and reveal them to you on camera. All right, that said, I'm going to see if this works. Bear with me because I'm going to move the camera a little bit. I'd like you to be able to get a tight view of the table and what's happening here. Let's see if we can't get that going. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right, perfect. So, for pile number 1, and again, we're thinking about the politics of your power and your purpose, okay? Pile number 1, it will be those of you who are drawn to this amethyst. Pile number 2, those of you who are drawn to this selenite. I'm sorry, not selenite. This is serpentine. Serpentine, okay? And pile number 3, it's a piece of golden obsidian. Sorry, it's kind of reflective, so it's picking up the ring light. I'm sorry about that. Trying to move it. All right, the light goes where it goes. Hey, maybe that's intentional from spirit, okay? All right. So let you sit with that for a moment. Pile number 1, amethyst. Pile number 2, serpentine. Pile number 3, golden obsidian. All right, so we're going to move the other 2 aside, and let's get ready to go in for pile number 1. Sorry about that. Those of you who chose and were drawn to the amethyst. Let's see the politics of your power and your purpose. Well, we're starting out real interesting. We have if the dogs come circling around. Now the dogs could be, I need to do this also so that you see them. So let me turn them around. If the dogs come circling around, movement helps my energy and emotions to flow. You're not alone. Okay. Love is the key to my success. Wow. Okay. Air element. Oh, and this is a full moon in Gemini. The air element, creativity. So I'm getting right off the bat. I still got more to pull here, but those of you who are drawn to this pile, you may be artists. And when I talk about, being artistic, it could be any number of different genres. You could be, painters, photographers. You could maybe have thought about doing that. You could be literary artists. You could certainly, because of this movement, have some ties to music and what is put out. You definitely love community-based. Okay, I'm already interpreting. Let me get the other cards on the table. But because of this, if the dogs come circling around, let's see what else we have going on here. We have meditate with that air. So the mind element is really important for you at this time, this full moon in Gemini. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Very good card indicating prosperity coming to you with the King of Pentacles. So as you get that prosperity, pile number 1, you know what to do with it. The King is very good at managing the wealth that comes in. So I'm going to put those 2 together. We've got emotions for you. That's that release, the full moon release. And I'll bring all of these. I know it's a lot of cards going on here, so I'll pull some of them up for you. And we have, this is interesting. We have the 5 of Pentacles here. So notice those two. So there is, for you all, part of the politics of your power is understanding you are concerned with fiscal responsibility, and you want to make sure that, for some of you, this could be a stage of life where you are in retirement, or you're considering retirement, or you're thinking about how to make sure that your resources last, over a period of time. I'm going to move these over a little bit more so I can make use of this part of the table. Hold on. Because there's a lot of cards here. And that's another thing. When I'm doing pick a card, sometimes, Spirit just moves me. They tell me which decks to grab. I don't realize how many decks I have, what's going on. I'm just in the moment, right? I'm in that state, which I love. All right, so let's get this a little bit easier for you to see. Okay. And then your final card here is communication. We'll put that right there. All right. Let me sit with this for 2 seconds. For those of you drawn to this pile, I would not be surprised if you are not either politically active, as in you could even be a volunteer with certain organizations, or it could be that you're starting to think about thinking about ways that you could actually be more hands-on, more involved in your communities. Because I say that because the card that you started out with was this: if the dogs come around. Now, when we think about the dogs, we think about, in terms of human connections, we think about dogs are loyal. This would be reflective of your tribe, of those who you can trust. This is not wolves, and this is not somebody on the attack, but these are when the dogs come around. So it feels like your spirit guides, even, because this gives a very cosmic feel, right? I'm going to hold that up again. So this feels like the dogs, meaning a connection that you have at all times. They want you to remember that, your politics of purpose and power has to do with remembering that you are a part of a greater whole. That's the bottom line. You are a part of a greater whole. Your dogs are your spirit guides, your ancestors, your angels, however you feel most comfortable communicating, as well as the people in your life, those who are true blue. I love that even the coloring on this card, the artwork in this card, the dog is blue. Those who are true blue, those who you can trust them. And there's some movement happening here. Movement helps your energy and your emotions to flow. Keeping in mind too that you did get you got the Sun card, which in this deck they equate it to emotions. See that number 19 there at the bottom, which represents the sun. I am sorry for that doggone ring, like I'm trying to dance around it. There we go. Close enough. All right. So there's this movement and shifting your emotions. Remembering the whole point of this pick a card is a full moon in Gemini. So your emotions, you may feel like you're really at a stage of life where you've got to make some choices. You feel compelled to make some choices about what it is, who you want to connect with, who are your dogs, who you want to connect with. And there's some movement. You want to be able to move your energy. I'm sorry for that. Let me turn let's see. Let me turn the sound off of here if I could find the switch. All right, I can't find it and I don't want to get distracted. So sorry about that ding. Let's keep going. All right, now there's communication here. And again, remember we were talking about this Pentacles energy, right? You have the King of Pentacles, the 10 of Pentacles. So think about these two cards in contrast. They're from two different decks, but you have on the one hand the 10 of Pentacles here, which is being flush, having everything you need, not a care in the world. If it's a health concern, it is where your body begins to operate optimally. Your diet's good, you're exercising. There's a fullness and it's meant to last you. With that, you even see the horns there. With the 5 of Pentacles, it's a question about will all of this last? And when you combine those two things with the King of Pentacles, who manages that in tarot, kings are like the managers, you know, queens are the creative force, they are the nurturing force, they are what causes things to grow. And then the king steps in once something is made and manifest and created. The king steps in and says, okay, now here's how we protect it, here's how we preserve it, here's how we make sure that there is enough to last. Part of the politics of your power and purpose, pile number one, has to do with understanding how resources are used. And also you have here, you're not alone. It's really important for you all, I think, to become, if you are not already within this space, we talked about it, you know, a part of a political community, a part of a community that shares your ideals. Going back to your dog, you know, love is the key to my success. Love is the key to my success. So this is a feeling that you all get, pile number one. When you are with your dogs, you feel that love. When you really connect with your spirit guides, you feel that love. And there's something about the communication of that love that then spurs you into action. And what will motivate you in that action, looking at this meditate and creativity, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are really good at economics. Or very interested in it at the very least, you know, interested in how you can impact your household, how you can hold on one moment for me, please. Okay, there we go. How you can make a difference, really make a difference. And there's something, you know, in your power and purpose, the politics of your power and purpose, as you take those steps, as you begin to really hone in on developing your skills with money, with fitness, with health, with things that impact a larger whole, going back to that dog, that's the part of you that is going to connect with your purpose. It is what solidifies your sense of purpose, your sense of being. It is what helps you motivate you. It's what motivates you. It reminds you, community for you all, if you chose this amethyst, community for you all is paramount. It's something that when you get that reassurance from others, that, hey, you know, I'm going through this same situation. I care about how money is spent. I care about being fiscally responsible at the same time that I am socially responsible. I care about a democracy in the sense of, you know, having our taxes be manageable, you know, getting a grip on inflation, but at the same time making sure that at the end of the day, people have what they need. You have a beautiful heart. And I'm seeing you're someone who truly, as your heart is engaged to the extent that you work with the chakras, I highly recommend for those who chose this pile, definitely get, make sure that you stay in touch with your chakra energy. I'm looking at the green of this card. I'm looking at the green in this meditate card. I'm looking at the green even in this card of trying to figure out a little bit of lack going on there with that Five of Pentacles. But there's the green there mixed with that red. There's the green in the love is the key to success. So you may want to work with some green stones, jade, malachite, some green jaspers even, that's grounding energy. Those things might be good for you. And there is even, you chose amethyst, but there is also green amethyst. There is such a thing as green amethyst. I feel like I want to go just a little bit deeper for those of you who chose this pile, choosing, staying in your power and your purpose through your politics. The Tower. Oh, I get it. Tower, ruled by Pluto. You chose this pile, you recognize that, and you've been deeply impacted by knowing that the world is truly changed, the Tower. And there's no going back. But what's beautiful about you all is rather than using that tower and how much has changed and how much chaos is going on, rather than allowing it to defeat you or or put you in a state of constant anxiety. The dogs, the people you have around you, and the guidance that you get from spirit are helping you stay tuned into a vibration of love. And in doing that, you can use love not just in sort of this esoteric, woohoo way, but it is used. Love motivates you, and community. You are not alone. Is can motivate you to get involved, to literally get involved, to volunteer, to put yourself out there more and connect with others, especially around the realm and on the topic of economic investments, stocks, savings, banking, farming. Even I'm getting for some of you, you may have some connection to the land and be interested in farming, in food. For some of you, even I'm getting crystals. You may, because that crystals are of the earth and they do help. They heal, they give us a vibration, they keep us in a state of love, they work with us, they are our friends. So for some of you as well, it could be a call, your power and your purpose in politics. Spirit is saying, remember to use your resources, because this is what helps you manage your emotions. Notice even a sword that this being is holding in between, the sword representing Gemini, air element. You got the air element, creativity. All right. So using the mind for clarity and not allowing, you have a solid, stable, grounded energy, pile number one, when you walk in it. That is your power and your purpose. And Spirit is saying that for you, it's crucial to stay in that grounded, loving energy, because you are the type of person who can then use your energy to connect with other people, communicate ideas relative to healing, relative to abundance, relative to management of resources, ideas about how to promote the management of resources. You have a gift for that. And if you have not really been aware of that or thought of it in those terms, then going into 2024, pile number one, I think that's what the guides are saying. It's time to turn your attention to that. All right. That was really delightful. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Let me know. I always welcome your feedback and your thoughts on these readings. It means a lot to me when you do. It really does. Okay. And it also, because it reminds me it was worth getting up at 3:45 in the morning. All right. We're going to move on now to pile number two, those of you who chose the Serpentine. So, the politics of your power and purpose, pile number two. Let's see what we got here. What the winter spirits know. Ooh, how timely is that? Because it is that season. With my thoughts, I co-create with the universe. I know that's right. All right. Power and power, your purpose and power in politics. A new earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. All right, so you, off the bat, I can see pile number two. You have the power to influence things psychically. You gotta, through your thoughts, through the way that you channel energy. Many of you are intuitives and channels, whether or not you claim that or recognize that. Here we go. Now you know. I am not a victim to the harassment in my life. Ooh. If that could not be a sort of a political message, because many of us do certainly feel harassed. Death, transmigration, an ending of the way things are. And you, pile number two, you may be people who even facilitate that ending in terms of change, in terms of fundamentally recognizing the way that things need to be changed. There is forgiveness. So you're ready. Oh, I got full moon in Gemini, we talked about full moons in general being a time of release. Those of you who chose this Serpentine, you are ready to release something, and your path to releasing it is forgiveness. That is what leads you to your power and your purpose. And oh my gosh, did we not get death twice? Excuse me. I'm getting all choked up in my throat chakra, because this is truly a powerful message for you all. Totally different decks. One an oracle deck, and here we've got the major arcana death and forgiveness. This is a tremendously powerful time for you to, pile number 2, to assess your ideals. That's what they're saying. Assess your ideals. When we talk about politics, what are your values? What are your morals? It's deeper than just like here in America, two-party system, Democrats or Republicans. It's deeper than that even for you. It's really about, how do I feel about my fellow man? And how do I feel about myself first and foremost, and how I show up in the world with others? How can you are... You all don't mind accepting the challenge of that self-assessment, like having to take that good look at yourself and then deciding a new earth, deciding, okay, here's who I am. And so therefore, here's the part that I am willing to play in the greater whole. That death and that forgiveness, you are right on the verge of some sort of major shift, because you're realizing something that is taking you to that space of forgiveness. And the world is completion. The world is moving on. Oh my gosh. And then you've got judgment on the other side of it with healing. Wow, what a powerful time for you all, and powerful message for this pile. Your faith and a message of peace. I just want to breathe this one in for a moment. It is so divine. Pile number 2. You are on the verge of truly something life-changing. I'm sorry about that. I don't know. Apparently, this message really needs to come through. I rarely get choked up in my throat like that. Okay. And I'm also looking at how many major arcana here have come on the board. So this is, and you know, if you work with me at all, when I get a bunch of major arcana, those are the heavy hitters. Those are the ones that are like standing there with trumpets, like, listen to what I am saying to you, because this is truly me speaking, and a message of peace. If you have been, if part of what you feel when you think about the political spectrum right now and your part in it, if you have felt victimized, if you have felt unduly targeted, I'm also feeling for many of you, I'm going to speak it plainly because this is what I'm getting. If you are, if you enjoy someone of the same sex, and so there has been a lot of tension and reversals, or could be reversals of gay rights, etc. Part the LGBTQ community not that it ever ended, but heightened tensions, heightened targeting, a heightened sense of being disempowered after so many years of fighting for rights to be and to exist. For many of you, if that applies to you, and again, that's just something Spirit was giving me, so I have to speak it. It won't apply to everybody, but for those it does apply to. If that has impacted your willingness to get out there and be visible and participate in the political world, to stand in your power, to understand and talk about your purpose, to use your identity to help motivate you to live in your truth and your purpose. If you feel like, some of you feel like that's been under attack, and so you've had to walk it back a little bit, or thought about it, there is a message of peace here and faith and healing that comes after this transformation, forgiveness and death on either side. There is a realization through the Judgment card. There's a realization that yes, things have changed. They're not going back to the way they were, but that the world is still a really large place. And that as that healing occurs, then you can turn the page, you can, go to a new chapter. There is also a call for some of you to travel. Travel meaning to go places or do something that promotes this forgiveness and this willingness to let go and transform, be further transformed. And that judgment is coming because it's Spirit giving you that revelation to understand exactly what you need to do in order to have this healing. Some of you would really benefit from some Kundalini energy healing, from Tantra, from yoga, anything that puts you, Tai Chi, anything that puts you really in touch with your body. Getting massages. There's a grounding that needs to happen, a new earth. There's a grounding that needs to happen because you are literally like being reborn, rebirthed, rediscovering something about yourselves and how you want to live your life. What the Winter Spirit knows. That was your first card coming out. This now having spent some time with this energy, I get a better understanding of this. Because what does winter do? Winter is that time of introspection. It's that time when the earth, grows cold, the hours, the sun is not out as long, there's more darkness. It's a reflective time. It's a time when a lot of people want to just kind of go inside their homes and snuggle up on the couch with a nice blanket, those kinds of things. So what the Winter Spirit knows is that your power and your purpose from a political standpoint is tied to your ability to understand and really come to peace with how the world has changed and continues to change. And that you are not a victim, but that you're going to welcome this new earth. You're going to welcome this change that comes from the world. You're going to welcome this next cycle because you're ready for it. The World and Judgment, two powerful cards. And in the major arcana, they come back to back. Judgment is number 20 and the World is number 21. And I deliberately put them as bookends on these two death cards with this forgiveness, because this is a journey that you are traveling right now, pile number 2. You are literally going through a period of transformation in perhaps even in your political ideology, and using that, having been shaken up a little bit, that wasn't fun, it didn't tickle, but you are using that as to heal, to strengthen your faith, and to ultimately bring a message of peace to the world, to those around you. And it comes through change. It comes through the recognition of that change and the forgiveness of those who would harm you, denigrate you, victimize you, harass you. It is your ability to rise above those things and decide for yourself, what does your new earth look like? How do you move in the world, your power and your purpose? How do you move in the world to decide what this new earth is going to look like? Because it ain't going to look the same. Those two deaths coming on either side with Judgment in the World, it's not going to look the same. It's not designed to, though. What the Winter Spirit knows is that everything has its time. To everything there is a season. That's biblical. Been a while since I worked with the Bible, but I do remember some things, right? That's there. To everything that there is a season. That's in Ecclesiastes, if I'm not mistaken, right? So meaning the changes that have occurred and even the current state of political turmoil, it too is serving its purpose. But for you, instead of getting into a mindset, this is with my thoughts, I co-create with the universe. You are co-creating a new earth, pile number 2. You are co-creating with the universe. And your path to that is to accept this change, to use your faith and heal, to take the time that you need in order to do that and bring a message of peace in the midst of chaos, anger, trauma, etc. In 2024, things could start to get even, more heightened. We in America, we are certainly sort of expecting that. That's not going to come as a shocker to any of us, because we can see what's happening and how things are unfolding. But for you all in particular, you chose that Serpentine. You have a unique role to play to tap into that spirit of forgiveness and change, permanent change, because it is a path to healing and a new world that your power and your purpose wants to be tied up in, connected to. That is part of what your spirit guides are saying to you. Is we need you in the earthly plane to help exercise some of the things that we're trying to keep in motion for the sake of the planet and the sake of humans. All right? Not sure where that came from, but it came and I let it out. Notice my throat didn't get choked up on that part. All right, moving on to pile number 3. Those of you who were drawn to this golden obsidian, and I am there it is. I'm really trying to show you that without that light reflecting so much. All right, the politics of your power and purpose. When the storm spirits play. I'm feeling some fiery energy from you all. As I rest in the sacred womb, I heal. The weight of the world. Politics of power and purpose. When I follow my heart, I am abundant, successful, and free. Look at all this fiery, bright energy that's coming up for you all. Bells. Deflection. And even that's tied in to the color palette. Adventure. I understand. Okay. The Prince of Swords. The Two of Cups. Ooh. Death and rebirth. Wow. This pile, if you chose this pile, you might also be drawn to pile number 2. Death and rebirth had a lot to do with what was happening there. And this, I'm going to put the child with it. The magician, but in this deck they call it the child. So that's what's being rebirthed. And you have a message of forgiveness. Also a strong part. Okay, definitely if you chose this pile, I highly recommend that you also watch pile number 2, that Serpentine. Definitely some crossover messages here. All right. For you, some of you are preventing yourselves from having something that Spirit really wants you to have. And you're not doing it deliberately. Most of us, we're not masochists. We're not deliberately trying to hold ourselves back. We want a good life. We want joy. We want love. We want good health, etc., etc. We want to be loved and to give love. We want to be seen for who we are. For some of you who chose this pile, for many of you, I feel that's been an issue. The idea of the feeling of acceptance, the feeling of being willing to be vulnerable again, and to lighten up. That ultimately is what I'm hearing for you all, is to lighten up. That's why you're getting this child from behind the rebirth. It's Spirit wants you, the politics of your power and purpose at this time. Energy is always shifting. But during this full moon in Gemini, remember, Geminis are very childlike. In many depictions, when you see the divine twins, they are children. Okay, so here we've got this death card, this rebirth, this changing and transformation that's happening for you, or about to happen for you. And what it's doing is, the rebirthing is to put you back in a state of renewal. Your power and your purpose has to do with shedding the snake skin, literally being rebirthed. That is a part of your power. I wouldn't be surprised if many of you who chose this are a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising, or have strong Scorpio placements in your chart. That and a lot of Plutonian energy, Pluto. Because for you there is, or even Aquarius energy with Uranus and transformative energy. For many of you, it is something around, and see this adventure, yeah, that makes me think Aquarius as well, because your soul is asking for the adventure of a child, something that you could do. Your power and your purpose is to rediscover the joy of life. And you have found, see this bells and this deflection. That's why I said a moment ago, I feel like for some of you, the reason this is coming through, the cards fell this way, is because the weight of the world, there's something that made you, this, let's look at both of these together. The weight of the world, different decks, by the way. The weight of the world with, as I rest in the sacred womb, I heal. Okay? As I rest in the sacred womb, I heal. So there is, and that's just so beautiful. Spirit is telling me hold that up there for you for a moment longer, so you can just really enjoy that energy. All right, you see that? You feel that? There is healing for you. This rebirthing process is healing for you. And it's healing your heart. It's healing how you feel free. When I follow my heart, I am abundant, successful, and free. It may have been a while for some of you since you felt that way. And this may be what your heart and your the power and your purpose is calling you out to. But again, this is a political / healing reading. And so part of what I think has happened is many of you could be empathic. You could just be naturally empathic. And as a result, you absorb the impact of a lot of what happens in the world on a different level, at a different frequency than a lot of other people. It really hits you. Say, for instance, I don't want to trigger anybody, but say, for instance, if you see on the news that there's been a mass shooting or some other kind of major traumatic event, it could even disturb your sleep or, really affect your mood, etc. Like you truly are aware of things that way. But Spirit is saying it is time to get back into a space of childlike a sensibility. We've got this Two of Cups here, which is about doing what makes you feel good, what is playful. It is also an indicator of love sitting out there for you. I'm going to pull on that. I want to clarify on that. It could be very well that for many of you, it's time for you to be able to have the support that you want, to be able to see the Prince of Swords is sitting there as well. This message of forgiveness. I feel like those two are coming together. Someone is going to have a conversation with you, or this could be a teacher. But the Prince is young. This also feels like for some of you, this could be around children or family, or how you, the wounds that you're still carrying from your childhood, and that could have been how your political viewpoint was formed. But your power and your purpose has been your struggle to take all of those experiences and make them your own. To be able to stand and not feel like you're carrying the responsibility of everyone else's ideas, feelings, thoughts, your relationships to them, but to be able to stand in your power and your purpose. And it is to almost like, I feel like for some of you, Spirit is almost like the guides are saying, like they're going to rewind the clock, but not to literally go back in time, but to go back in feeling. This message of forgiveness. It is to go back in feeling, to reconnect to the joy of a Two of Cups, to reconnect to the freedom and joy of a child, to reconnect to the sense of life being an adventure versus a burden, weight of the world. You with me? I love the way Spirit tells a story, y'all. We just have to sit there and let it play out. And when the storm spirits play, see, that's even a tie to this child, you all, because the storms are, symbolically, this is talking about the storm spirits, meaning the changes that are going on in the world, politically and otherwise, but to see it as play. To see it as a rebirthing that needs to take place in the world, to see it as things are as they should be, they are unfolding as they should, versus, ring the alarm. You know, bells, deflection, ring the alarm, like deflecting it. I got to protect myself. I got to make sure that I can stay, I'll be okay. Because everything around us or everything around you, when it gets hectic, and this world around you that you do feel deeply, I'm telling you, so many of you are empathic. And you may not even recognize that about yourself. You just may realize you hear something, someone tells you something, you receive bad news, and it just gets to the core of you, and you don't even, sometimes subconsciously, it sinks in and you absorb it, and you don't even realize you've done it until you get the headache or until you can't sleep. You know what I mean? So for you all, it's your power and your purpose, and there's the Knight of Swords to come with that Prince of Swords. You are being given messages, or you will be given messages, pile number 3, that bring you to adventure, that tell you what your next steps need to be so that you can rediscover joy. Knight of Cups, boom, rediscover joy. Movement, knights are movement. Princes are more the principle, the ideas of a situation, the potential. Princes are young, undeveloped, childlike. This is childlike, energy, right? It's full of wonder and possibilities and what could be. So for you, but the knights actually take those ideas and the wonder and the possibilities and start to move on them. That's why you'll almost always see knights on horses, because there's movement there. So in swords, air, full moon in Gemini, there's the movement of these ideas around Knight of Cups. Emotions. The emotions and the desire, Knight of Cups, with the Two of Cups, the motion and the desire to move ahead, to have an adventure, to release the weight of the world, to heal, and rediscover yourself. This rebirthing. And understanding, beginning to put some of the chaos that's happening politically around us and otherwise in a different framework as the storm spirits at play, meaning what some of the things that are happening are meant, they are not meant to hurt us or harm us or cause us anxiety, but they are meant to help us step into our power and our purpose. And one of the main ways that happens is through politics, right? I'm getting ready to move again, so stay with me. All right. It's the power of the politics, that is one of the things that we all can come together, no matter, age, race, background, but we are all impacted somehow, some way by global politics around different cultures. We are being urged to take stock, to remember our power and purpose, to have fun, find ways to explore, to have adventures, to seek forgiveness, and to offer forgiveness in whatever manner that shows up for you. Okay? All right. It was good. I felt really good about it. I wish you all the absolute best. Please remember to like and subscribe, and let me know what you thought about this pick a card. I always welcome your feedback, and I'll talk to you real soon. Take care of yourself. Bye.